All right, YouTube, and welcome back to the hangar, and welcome back to Private Pilot. All right, what I want to show you guys what I had done. Hopefully you could hear me. If you're watching this video, you can hear me, obviously. It's raining pretty good. I was actually going to start this about 10 minutes ago, but it's been pouring like you wouldn't believe, and you can see the water running like crazy here. One thing nice is it's warm out. It's hot. It's been humid the last few days. We really need the rain. We're up here in northern Illinois. It's been kind of dry, so we could really use the rain. But it's been pouring like crazy. There was just a crack. I should have had the camera rolling. That was a crack. Oh, there's one right there. That was a crack of lightning that just hit over here, and it was so loud. Now it's lightening up now, so maybe we're done. I don't know, but hopefully, you can, if like I said, if you're watching this, you obviously you can hear me. So, what I want to show you what I did today, or I had the avionics guy in the shop here replace one of my VORs with a VOR with a Glideslope and a Localizer. I'm restarting my instrument training for I don't know how many times this has been. And I'm sure there's guys out there, or girls, that have done the same thing. You start, stop, start, stop. Let me know in the comments below how many times you started your instrument training. It's kind of like when you go to get your private license, you start your private pilot training, then you stop, life gets in the way, money gets in the way, you restart, you finally get it. I've got only about 200 hours in, and I bought this plane last fall, which is right here. I bought the plane last October. This is August. I got back into flying about a year ago, and obviously I bought a plane. I got a hangar. I got a really nice hangar. I got an extra large hangar, actually. Just happened to come available. But anyways, I'm restarting my instrument training. So I wanted to put, I bought a Glideslope Localizer VOR, I don't know, back over the winter. Somebody had one. I bought it from them. And I've been wanting to get that thing put in. My engine got overhauled, and I wish I had some video. I do have videos of that, of them rebuilding my engine. I got to try and somehow get them from Messenger to save on my computer. But I do have some videos. So I've got a brand new engine in here. It's an 0235. I got 10 hours on it. It's a 2,400 hour engine. It'll last me forever. So anyways, let me show you what I did. I've got the stuff in the plane. I'll move the camera over here. And I had that replaced a couple of days ago. Let me move the camera and I'll show you. Okay, so I replaced this instrument. No, I replaced this instrument with this one. This is just a regular VOR. But I wanted to put a VOR with a Glideslope in. Now, one thing that I learned, in this Glideslope, this instrument runs off of this standard Cessna radio. When I bought this plane, the radio that was in here, on the back of these radios, you can't see me, but on the back of these radios there's a Glideslope pin. The old radio, which I thought I had out here, I was going to show you, I brought it home. The old radio does not have a Glideslope pin on the... The old radio doesn't have a Glideslope pin on the back of this. And I can't remember how I found this out, but when I was redoing the whole interior, when I gutted this whole thing and was redoing it, I pulled the radio out. And somebody must have said something to me. I don't remember. So any of you new guys out there, just like me, I had to learn. If you want to put a Glideslope Localizer VOR in, you got to make sure this radio's got a Glideslope pin on the back of it. Evidently some don't. Didn't know that, and I can't remember how I found out. So there was somebody on one of the Facebook pages that said, yeah, I got one, I'll sell it to you. You gave me a really good price on the radio. So obviously, this would not have worked with the old radio, and I do have it. It's at home, I can't show you. Actually, what I'll do is I'll take a picture of it, and I'll splice it into this video. You can see it's like a copper bar that's on the back of that, and that slides into another pin all the way in the back. And then they hook the wires up, and then they run the wires to this, and however they do it, that's not my job. The avionics guy here is really good. It didn't take him too long. We stood around talking a lot of the time while he was working. Really nice guy. But he got this all hooked up when he was done. He tuned it in. He's got a box with an antenna on it. He tuned it all in. The crosshairs came in just perfect. But the one thing he was looking, and he's like, oh, this doesn't have a to from indicator on it. He thought maybe it wasn't working. You can't see. I can't get the camera all the way in here. But what this instrument has, it's got an arrow that points down for from and an arrow that points up for to. Unlike this VOR, it's got a to and from on it. So at first, he didn't realize, he didn't notice it. He's like, oh, it's now, the to from isn't working. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, what's that? You can see the little arrow flipping back and forth, or you can see it. I'm like, well, it's doing something. And then we're both like, oh, duh. So it's got an arrow down and an arrow up. He's like, oh, this is a really old one. And somebody here again on one of those Facebook pages sold me this, and it works perfect. So I'm really excited. I can't wait to do some ILS stuff once I start my training again here. So this radio runs off of here. Now, this MX355 runs this bottom radio. This radio I bought from a friend of mine. Let me see it right here. This radio I bought from a friend of mine. I replaced it. This is what was in it. A little crowded in here. This is what was in it. This is kind of one of your standard radios. And this radio worked just fine. But now I've got two comms. So I replaced this radio with this, and this runs this VOR. So that's what I had done the other day. It all worked. He tuned this into here, it worked perfect. Get this out of the way here. He tuned it in here, it came in perfect. He tuned this in, it came in perfect. So I'm really excited to start doing some of that training. But keep that in mind, if you want to put one of these in, make sure the back of that radio, this radio, has got a Glideslope pin in it. Because he asked me that. I'm like, yeah, no, I found that out actually. And he pulled it out just to double check. He had to pull it out anyways because there's a little bar that goes all the way in that the Glideslope pin goes into. Because actually when I bought this radio, and here again, just learning all this stuff, before I was just a renter. I get the key, fly the plane, turn the key back in, didn't have to worry about any of this stuff. So I messaged the guy, I'm like, it doesn't fit. It keeps hitting on something. He's like, it's gotta fit. I'm like, it doesn't fit. It was my own fault. He's like, it has to. And then I realized there was a bar that somebody had screwed in the back, and that bar is what that pin slides into. Well, the bar was upside down, and that's why it wouldn't slide in. So I pulled the bar out, because I wasn't using the Glideslope anyways. I pulled the bar out, radio popped in there perfect. There's a little tiny screwdriver with like a little I'll show you actually, I've got it in my toolbox. There's a little, if you want to take your radio out, you got to get this little tool. And you can order it. I think I got it from Aircraft Spruce, I want to say. I'll show you the tool. But it fits right in that little hole, and it unscrews and the whole radio will just slide right out. But I kept messaging the guy, I'm like, it doesn't fit. He's like, it has to. Then I realized it was hitting that bar, so I just unscrewed that bar. It wasn't hooked to anything anyways. And fortunately, I don't usually throw anything away. My avionics guy said, you still got that? I'm like, yeah. So I come up here and grabbed it. He's like, yeah, it was in upside down. So whoever did whatever they did, whenever, they put that bar in upside down. And that's why the radio would not slide in. So he put it right side up, hooked the wires to it, the whole thing works beautiful. I'll show you that screwdriver in a minute. So anyways, if you want to change this out, or if you want to put a Glideslope in, make sure your radio has got a Glideslope pin on the back of it. And here is a picture of what it looks like. Okay, so you see in that picture, it's got that little copper pin on the top of that radio there. That is the Glideslope pin. You have to have that to make this work. If you just got dual VORs and you don't want a Glideslope localizer, then you don't need that. It doesn't matter. So anyways, keep that in mind. Like I said, I've learned a whole lot once I started remodeling this plane. And I've learned a lot about all this. The next is this audio panel. That's coming out. The next thing is this audio panel. That's coming out. I've got a brand new PS7000. That's going to go in here instead. So that'll be a separate video. I'm going to try and make some videos of that if I'm here when he does it. That's a little bit longer of a job. This only took him a couple hours to do. That's about it. Let me show you that screwdriver really quick. Okay, here's what the screwdriver looks like. See the head of this? I don't know if you can see this or not. The camera will focus in. Get out of the way here. It's got like a little teeny weeny octagon head on it. This is what slides into that hole, and you unscrew it, and it comes out no problem. That other radio, the KMX, okay, so this is what takes that radio out. See, I don't know, you probably can't see it. It's got a little octagon head, and I'm sure if you go to Aircraft Spruce, you can't find this screwdriver anywhere. It's a really common little tool to pull that radio out. Now that MX radio, you need this. You need this really long screwdriver. It's got a really small little flathead end to it. This goes all the way in, unscrews, and that whole radio comes back out. But this has to go the whole length of that radio. And it's like a 12-inch screwdriver. I did have to file that end down just a little bit. I think I just took it on the cement and I just scraped it a little bit on either side. And this will slide all the way in that radio. You screw it back out. That whole radio will just slide right out. The same thing with the with that top radio. This doesn't go in that far. That screw is just right on the inside there. Screw it out, that whole radio will come out, and then just pull it out really slow. And just be careful you don't damage it as you're pulling, but it'll just come out really slow. And then when you go to put it back in, it'll slide right in. The pins will fit right in those little, if you look inside that tray in there, all the way in the back, there's some plastic, like plastic slotted keepers with holes on the back for wires. That's what those pins slide into. So this I just got off of eBay. This is a 12-inch, really fine head little flathead screwdriver. And like I said, I did have to file this down just a little bit to get that to go into that hole. So anyways, that's my story on this. I've got my Glideslope, I'm ready to go, I'm really excited. So anyways, hopefully you'll support this brand new channel. If any of you guys have done any of this stuff that I'm doing, let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.